Hello everyone and welcome back. Before we begin tonight's story, I invite you to settle into a comfortable place and let the weight of the day slowly melt away. Take a gentle breath in and a soft breath out. Tonight's story is calm, emotional, and inspired by the kinds of real moments that stay with us for years. It's a story about loss, unexpected connection, and how even the smallest kindness can change the course of someone's life. Let's begin. There was a man named David who lived a quiet life on the edge of a busy city. He worked at a small repair shop where the days were long and the pay was simple. People who came in talked about their broken radios, bent tools, or watches that had stopped ticking. But no one ever asked about David, about his life, his thoughts, or the heaviness he carried behind his eyes. And David never offered any of it. He always greeted people with a polite nod, fixed what was broken, and returned to the silence of his small workspace. Earlier that year, David's younger sister had passed away after a long illness. She had been the closest person to him, the one who still called him on weekends, the one who believed in him when he struggled. Her absence left a space inside him that felt too big to fill. And so life for David became a routine of quiet motions: wake up, work, walk home, sleep. He ate simple meals, kept his apartment clean, and avoided anything that reminded him of her laughter, her voice, or the way she used to fold paper cranes to cheer him up on rough days. Every evening after closing the shop, David walked to the same old bus stop. It wasn't a special place, just a small metal bench under a flickering streetlight. The bus was always the same, a little too cold in winter, a little too stuffy in summer. Passengers varied, but their silence rarely did. Most stared at their phones or the floor, trying to make the ride pass faster. One rainy evening, heavy clouds hung low in the sky, spilling a steady rhythm of droplets onto the pavement. David stepped onto the bus and shook the rain from his jacket. As he made his way down the aisle, he noticed a young boy sitting alone near the front. The boy looked to be around 10, thin, small, with oversized sleeves and wet hair. He held a paper bag tightly, squeezed between his hands like it was the most important thing he owned. The bus was crowded, yet everyone seemed to avoid the seat beside the boy. David hesitated for a moment, drawn by something he couldn't explain. Then gently he walked forward and asked, "Is this seat taken?" The boy shook his head without looking up. They sat side by side in silence as the rain tapped gently against the windows. A few minutes passed before the boy spoke, softly, almost like he was afraid of his own voice. "My mom is in the hospital," he said. David turned slightly, listening. The boy continued, "I made her something. But I don't know if she'll wake up to see it." He opened the paper bag carefully and pulled out a small paper crane, delicate, colorful, and slightly bent from being held too tightly. David stared at it for a moment. His sister used to make paper cranes just like that. She always said, "Even small things can carry big hope." The boy looked up at David with uncertain eyes. "Do you think she'll like it?" he asked. David swallowed, feeling emotion rise unexpectedly. He nodded softly. "She'll love it," he whispered. "She'll love that it came from you." The boy clutched the crane close to his chest and let out a shaking breath. "Thank you," he said. When the bus reached the hospital stop, the boy stood, gripping the crane carefully. Before stepping off, he turned to David and said, "Will you wish her luck too?" David placed a hand over his heart. "I will," he said. "She's in my thoughts." The doors closed. The bus pulled away. And David stared out the window, watching the boy disappear among the crowd of umbrellas. Something inside David felt different, like a small spark of warmth had returned to a place that had been dark for so long. The next day at the repair shop, David found something unexpected. On his workbench, neatly placed above his tools, was a paper crane folded with care. On one wing, in small, uneven handwriting, were the words, "Thank you for helping me be brave, E." David held the crane delicately as though it might fall apart. He didn't know how the boy found him. He didn't know what happened to the boy's mother. But holding that crane, David felt something he had not felt in months: connection. That night, he placed the crane on a shelf above his work desk. And for the first time since his sister passed, he allowed himself to remember her without shutting the memory away. He remembered her folding paper cranes, laughing softly as she placed them on his desk, saying, "You're never alone, David, even when it feels like it." Winter came. The days grew shorter, the evenings colder. Yet David felt something gently shifting within him. He started noticing small things again. The warmth of a cup of tea, the sound of footsteps on the sidewalk, the kindness in a stranger's smile. The world felt a little less sharp, a little more bearable. One snowy evening, David boarded the bus again. As he sat down, he heard footsteps rushing to the front. A small voice called out, "Wait." The doors opened again and the boy climbed on, breathless, cheeks flushed from the cold. He spotted David immediately and hurried toward him. "You're here?" he said, smiling brightly. David felt his chest loosen. "I am," he replied gently. The boy sat beside him and held out a small envelope. "For you," he said. Inside was a simple card. On the front was a drawing, David sitting on the bus with the boy, both holding paper cranes. Inside were words written carefully in pencil. "She woke up." She smiled at the crane. "Thank you for helping me believe she would." David closed his eyes for a moment, overwhelmed. He had never imagined that such a brief moment on a rainy night could ripple so far. The boy leaned against him slightly, comfortable now. "I wanted to tell you myself," he whispered. "My mom said small kindness can be huge for someone. She said you were that kindness for me." David placed a gentle hand on the boy's shoulder. "You were brave," he said. "You carried hope when it was heavy." The boy smiled softly. "And you helped me carry it." As the bus rolled through the quiet, snowy streets, David felt a sense of peace settle over him, deeper and warmer than anything he'd felt in a long time. His sister's memory no longer felt like a wound. It felt like a light, one he now carried forward into someone else's life. From that night on, the boy would sometimes sit beside David on the bus. Sometimes they talked. Sometimes they simply sat in silence. But every time, David felt the quiet truth in his heart. Even a brief connection can change everything. Even a small act of kindness can save someone from a dark place. And even in the darkest times, hope moves quietly from one heart to another. Thank you for spending this quiet moment with me tonight. If this story brought you warmth, comfort, or reminded you of the gentle kindness still alive in this world, I hope the feeling rests with you as you drift into sleep. For more soft and emotional stories like this, feel free to subscribe so you won't miss the next bedtime tale. Until then, may your night be peaceful, your heart light, and may you always find small moments of hope. Good night.